Hi guys and welcome to episode 23 of Beat to the Punch. I'm joined on the line by Brendan Galuli. Brendan, how's things?
Doing great, Steve.
Great. And we also have Riku Haikala also on the call. Riku, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good. Enjoyed a good weekend of boxing.
Yeah, it actually was. It was action packed that weekend, wasn't it? There was you could do a bit of channel hopping, and in the way that things were scheduled or the way things worked out, you could kind of catch all the good fights. It was quite good.
Exactly. In 2019, it's called stream hopping.
Yeah. I would not know anything about that, man. I'm such an old man. But obviously, we missed the pod last week because I was away reliving my youth, away in a stag do, and this is me just kind of feeling back to being a human being again. So, we've got a lot to talk about. I'm eager to get started, so let's get on the road. So, let's start off with the big boy, Big Tyson Fury. He had his, his coming out party in America. Can we take anything positive for this fight, Brendan?
Ring walk?
The ring walk. What an answer.
I guess it.
What?
I guess he was entertaining. But, it was a lot of people watched it here and popular, but the kid, like the guy he can't.
Yeah,
he's just showing off his showmanship, I guess.
Yeah, we're just kind of losing you a little bit, Brendan. It's kind of cutting in and out. So I'll go to Riku just now. Riku, a lot of us kind of suspected that Tyson Fury might, sometimes with these fights where it's too easy for him, he struggles to get going, but that certainly wasn't the case in Saturday night, was it?
No, it wasn't the case, and he rose to the occasion. So if we learn something from Joshua fight, it's that you need to beat the man in front of you, even if it's relatively easy on paper. So I think you have to give him credit for putting on a good show. Nice coming to America party, and yeah, I think he boxed well. And the other thing that I was quite happy to see for him is that he actually looked fit, considering that in the past, in between 9 fights for 6 or 7 months, he's always faded a bit or not looked 100%. So yeah, you've got to say that he did what was expected and he performed.
How far away do we think we are for seeing the best version of Tyson Fury?
I think he has to have another fight in the next 4 or 5 months and just make sure that he stays in camp, and that's the key for him. He needs to be always in camp and not balloon in between fights. So I think he's reaching that age where he's probably in his prime. So I think the timing for the Wilder fight, as everybody's been talking, early next year, we'll probably see a peak Tyson Fury.
Yeah, Brendan, just with Fury kind of looking to be edging back to 100%, do you think that Deontay Wilder might be getting maybe a wee bit twitchy? Because of how close that fight was just after beating 2 trash cans. Fury's kind of looking better, he's looking fitter, he's looking faster.
I wouldn't be so scared. Like, that doesn't strike me as someone who's scared like anybody. But I think he thinks he can knock him out this time. I don't think you can take anything away from the Schwartz fight. He did what he had to do, like Rico said, but nothing surprised me. I the rounds. I thought he'd do one of his typical rounds. And
Brendan, I'm just going to stop you there. It's like it's a really bad line. I don't know if you want to jump off and then reconnect.
Okay.
Yeah. So Riku, we'll go back to you. I mean, we all know that Top Rank know how to build a fighter. I mean, they're one of the best in the business at it. But did they get pass marks for this fight? Did they get pass marks for this event?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, he was on every TV channel in the US. I think the hype was more than the Joshua fight in the US. So, and people know who he is after Wilder fight, and he made an entrance. He's got some great social media, the clips of him on the ropes, and then in terms of knocking out Schwartz, that makes great for social media, and ESPN have already put their group behind this guy. So I think, yeah, certainly. I mean, I can't see anything they could have done differently.
Yeah. Just, you kind of touched on a bit there, he gave us a highlight reel you know, doing his Matrix stuff on the ropes, and it's fantastic to watch. Just how big a part is them little snippets becoming in boxing? Because you know, for your casual fans, that is like kind of it's an advert. You know, I know that Twitter are kind of clamping down on them, which I think is probably detrimental to actually building a fighter. You know, you see these little clips. Somebody would watch that and go like, "Oh my God, Tyson Fury's amazing." They don't know who Schwartz is. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, some of my mates that are casual fans, the first thing they said is, "Oh, Tyson Fury looked amazing without seeing the fight and just seeing a 20-second clip of him." So that, if anything, I think is, yeah, it's very important for fighters these days to have those clips. But he can do that against the Tom Schwartz, but you're not going to be rolling off those ropes against a Wilder because that's just suicide. But yeah, you need to take your opportunities the same way how Wilder did against Dominic Brazil.
Yeah, we have Brendan rejoined us in the call. Brendan, just how well did Fury go down in the US?
I think he was super popular with the ring entrance. It was all over, social media. It was on Sports Center. ESPN was really pushing him, and be good for him for his marketing here going forward. And his singing after, people haven't really seen that here, and everyone seemed to really enjoy it. Maybe more than the fight. Guys are calling him like, oh, he's definitely the best heavyweight now, and but, that's a lot of the casual talk that they haven't seen or heard of Tom Schwartz. They thought he was good.
Yeah, yeah. I was reading today that Tyson Fury is basing himself in the US. He's not coming back to coming back to Britain for the foreseeable future anyway. Just how important do you think that is when you're actually trying to build a brand in America?
If he's going to keep doing the promotional tours and all that stuff, and ESPN will be pushing him, I'm sure they'll have him at a bunch of events. He was over here not too long ago at a baseball game, throwing out the first pitch, and in New York. I guess it's important, but I don't know if it's more important for him to be comfortable training at home around his family. I don't know if he's going to move his whole family here. But it'd be good for promotional aspect. I don't know about his mental health or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, sorry.
I've got a question for you, Steve. Do you think that it's the British media and the aftermath of, him winning the world title, all that, has driven him to the US partly?
Absolutely. And I actually seen. I mean, I was going through some boxing news, and I was still seeing people bringing up these homophobic comments he made 4 years ago. And it's if it doesn't like gay people, then that you're just going to have to deal with. You can't bring it up every time the guy fights, And I think that maybe he's over in the US because he's no, he's working with a friendlier media. The tabloids here for day one pinned their hopes on AJ. AJ was a golden boy. AJ was this. AJ cannot do a thing wrong. Right, for AJ was a yang. Tyson Fury was a yang. He was the exact opposite. He was a boogeyman. He get absolutely no credit for winning those world titles. People made him out to be a joke after he beat Vlad. And I think that the press in this country were a big part of his downfall, to be honest.
Agreed.
They'll have much less of a limelight on him here. No one's going to be worried about Tyson Fury seen at the fucking deli eating 16 sausage rolls or something like that. Just boxing's not as popular here. It won't get the notoriety, and maybe enjoy that type of privacy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think as well, it was about what Wayne Rooney was saying. He just likes being able to walk around with his family and not be constantly harassed, and not be worried about what people are going to do or if they're going to take photos of him. So, there's probably part of that which is more peace and mental peace, just being able to relax and do normal things. Because he's a pretty normal guy, isn't he? He likes doing normal stuff.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's what always comes across with Fury is he's no media trained. He's not this polished guy. He's still kind of like your next door neighbour kind of thing. I think that's why with working class people especially, he's kind of got a draw to him. But I think that's also why the tabloids kind of pick on him in this country, because we've got politicians that says a lot worse shit than what Tyson Fury has, and because that paper might support that political party, that's fine. You know what I mean? It's like the hypocrisy in the media in Britain is, honest to God, I don't think it could be matched anywhere in the world. It's kind of like, it's like Goebbels' bloody Nazi Germany here,
Shout out to our German listeners.
Yeah, man. But let's move on away from that, because I mean, we've kind of talked that one a good bit there for a very, very one-sided fight, but I think the only kind of positive we can get to Fury is he done what he should have been doing, and and in the past he might have took maybe 7 or 8 or 9 rounds to get that guy out of there, whereas he went in, showboated a wee bit and got him out. So that, I mean, well done to Tyson Fury, I suppose. But we had the World Boxing Super Series in Latvia, which turned out to be quite a dramatic night, I think is the best way to put it. So we'll start off with a fight that was actually a good fight, and that was Dorticos versus Tabiti. Dorticos again is kind of winning other fans the way he did last season in the World Boxing Super Series. With his style, it's very fan friendly. What did you think of the fight, Brendan?
He says it in every interview. He's always looking for a knockout, and he always is. And he should be a fan favorite guy. I enjoy watching him. He's just still, relatively unknown to the mainstream sporting world, but he can definitely punch with the best of them. I enjoyed the fight a lot, and he gets hit too. So there's always going to be some drama in his fights. What'd you guys see?
Yeah, I mean that KO alone. I mean, for me, that's one of the contenders for KO of the year. I don't know what you guys think.
100%, 100%.
Yeah, it was a beautiful shot, but I thought Tabiti, am I saying that right, Tabiti? Whatever, anyway. I thought he had some success early doors, as you said, Brendan. I mean, Dorticos was taking the shots, but he's quite happy to take the shots to land his shots, which, I mean, you've got to love that,
Yeah, for sure. He thinks his power is better than yours, and he's willing to take some on the, take a few on the chin to land his monster punches.
Riku, do we think that willingness of Dorticos to entertain and to, put his balls on the line, do we think that could be showed up in the final if indeed he is fighting Marius Bradis?
Yeah, I think Bradis is a very good fighter, but he's coming off an injury, and yeah, we'll probably get on to that fight in a moment. But yeah, I think it's a genuine 50-50 matchup, depending obviously where it is in the world. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting fight, and I think Dorticos he's a smart boxer. So against Tabiti, what he did quite well is that he was making Tabiti work. It was out throwing punches, just doing really clever stuff. So he's going to make a fight against anyone just really hard and awkward.
Yeah. Do we think Tabiti will be taking any gripes up with Drake? Because I seen that Drake was sitting ringside on the Super Series, his Twitter, and that said Drake curse kicked in again. So I mean, that's got to Drake's picking up L's all over the place, isn't he?
Well, the Raptors just win, so I think the Drake curse was lifted momentarily. But yeah, you should probably advise anybody in the world not to be near Drake at any point if you have any sporting event or anything important in your life coming up.
I mean, it did look like the Super Series again. The atmosphere sounded amazing. Everything about the Super Series was superb. So, I mean, what we seen was the best of the cruiserweights in that fight. But what about what we're going to move on to now, Brendan? Did you see Marius Bradis versus Glowacki?
Oh, I think the only word you can use for that is shit show. Oh. I mean, just a literal shit show. Like the Robert Byrd, he just had no control, zero control, and that's surprising from a rep of his caliber and his experience, just to let everything get blown out of control like that.
Yeah, I mean, how can we justify this? Is there any way that we can maybe make an excuse or see how he's lost control? Because he literally just lost the plot in there.
I mean, all he had to do was, Glowacki landed that ridiculous rabbit punch to the back of his head. Then he elbowed him he had the spinning back elbow to the temple. And all you had to do there was stop, throw everyone in the corner, see if Glowacki needs 5 minutes, and you take points from everybody, and then start again. but he was, I felt like he was still buzzed from the elbow to the face. That's what resulted in the quick end to the fight in the next round.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this as well. His face marked up. You could see exactly where the elbow had landed. Now, Riku, do you think that there was a lasting damage from that elbow? Because, I mean, things started turning rapidly right after that elbow.
Yeah, there definitely was. He was fully concussed or badly hurt. But it's funny because Carlos Sullivan said in an interview that Glowacki said that he wanted to carry on, and the referee was willing to give him more time, and a point was taken off Bradis at that point, which I didn't see, at least watching the fight, either of these, because it felt like Robert Byrd was just trying to rush Glowacki back into the fight.
Yeah, that's
I agree.
Sorry, Brendan. Sorry,
it was. I didn't see him ask him if he needed more. It felt like he was like shoving him back in there like right away. I don't know. It's just a shit job by Robert Byrd, and I don't want to see him anytime soon. What were you saying, Steve?
Yeah, I was just going to say that we've all seen the exact same thing. He didn't ask him if he wanted more time. He told him to get his fists up and get ready to fight. And I also didn't know, Riku's just informed me that he took the point off Bradis. I didn't know he took a point off Bradis. He didn't take him into the middle of the ring and do the usual, round to the four sides and do the point off. That didn't happen. They took him into a corner and had a word in his ear.
Yeah, he just lost control of the fight, and it's a shame to see what looked like a good matchup is it's tarred. I don't know if you're Galacki, obviously want a rematch, but who knows with the way they scheduled the World Boxing Super Series if that'll even work out for him.
Yeah, I mean the elbow was bad. It was handled very poorly, but it kind of just got worse for there. Galacki ended up taking a couple of, get put down a couple of times. But then the knockdown that done all the damage and sealed his fate actually came 6 seconds after the bell, after the round had ended.
Yeah.
What was Robert Byrd doing in there? What? I don't understand how nobody could catch his attention, or the bell that you could hear going off continuously in the back. How it took him so long to register.
I don't know. I felt like, and then he said, Bradis said he heard the bell anyway, and he still hit him.
Yeah.
So, I know after the fight you can't disqualify the guy, but just guess he seemed like a real fucking piece of shit that night.
Can we say that Robert Byrd, we know he won't, but I mean, is this a prime example of when referees need to be held accountable? We'll give it you, Riku.
Yes, that's a simple answer. I mean, at least in football, if a referee does something wrong, they have to explain themselves to some sort of committee, whereas Robert Byrd will probably keep on refereeing. And yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, he made a big mistake, in my opinion, and it wasn't just one mistake. He didn't hear the bell. He didn't clearly give the fighter enough time. So, yeah, there's lots of things that he made a mistake in, and I don't think that sort of referee should be refereeing without actually explaining himself or explaining what he saw and what he heard at that point.
He's, I don't want to sound like an ageist guy, but he's 74, 75 years old. I mean, at a certain point, you don't belong in there, refereeing a fight between this type of high caliber athletes. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know if maybe he's got a hearing issue at that age. He's no spring chicken.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, he's in there about the loud crowds. I mean, I've been in that Riga arena, and that is a very, very great atmosphere because it's enclosed, a 20,000 stadium ice rink arena, and they love Bradis. So, in arenas like that, he might struggle to hear. But what I was thinking after it was like, could you imagine being the Bird's children? When the fights are coming up, you must just delete your social media accounts, because that's both the mother and the father took nothing but endless dogs abuse. But in football, as you said, Riku, in football, referees can get held accountable, but also something from football or soccer for you, Brendan, is we have retrospective action. Now, do we think that we might see some retrospective action took against Bradis, i.e. a disqualification and elimination for the tournament?
I'm not sure the bylaws or rules of the tournament, but generally that never happens in boxing. You never see a fight go back and they change the ruling. So I would think he's going to have to accept it. Maybe try and get a rematch after the final, or unless I don't know if they want to suspend him for actions, but that doesn't seem likely.
Yeah, and I don't think the blame lays in Bradus. I mean, he was in a fight and he threw an elbow and he took advantage of the situation because he was allowed to do so. So I don't think he can solely be blamed, and he should be punished if the referee isn't punished for the whole thing.
Now, when I went to Riga to watch Usyk and Bradis in the semi-final, I left that night saying that now I'm Aries Bradis fan. I thought he was great, and when I seen him get into the tournament this time, I thought to myself, this is his year. He's going to win it this time. But I mean, that kind of left a sore taste in my mouth, that fight. As Brendan says, he's coming back from an injury. We've not really got to see him tested. What was that? 3 rounds, the start of the 3rd round, I think that was over. Who do we fancy getting into the final? Because I'm not sure that we've seen enough of Bradis to say that he's going to beat Dorticos. We'll start off with Brendan.
I'm not really sure, to be honest. I think it's a 50-50 toss up. I really don't have a pick at this time. Like you said, we haven't seen enough of him to know if he's back to 100% or how this fight's going to affect him, going forward. But I got no pick right now. I have nothing.
Yeah. What about you, Riku?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to agree with Brendan on that because we don't know. We don't know exactly. We don't know exactly what type of condition Bradis is in, and they both, even if they were both in top condition, it would be an all-out war and it would be a great watch, but it would be hard to say who the winner is going to be. I think a lot will depend on where the fight is as well, because Bradis has had advantages against Usyk having the fight in Latvia as he has had in the previous fight, so all of this will play a factor in who's going to be the favourite.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing I would say is that when you see Dorticos, he likes to mix it up. So I think that the two styles should gel. So regardless of who's going to win, I think that we can pretty much put our money on that this one will be the fight that we want to see. But unless you guys have anything else to say about that, let's move on to Josh Warrington and Kid Galahad. For all the build-up this one had, it never really caught fire, did it, Riku?
No, there was part of it was you could say it was the tactics of Galahad, which were where he sort of held quite a bit, but partly as well because Galahad's a good fighter and he didn't allow Josh Warrington to bulldoze like he usually does, throw a lot of punches, and to be in my mind, he made him actually look quite silly, Josh Warrington, because Josh Warrington only landed once or twice notably, and then he was a bit better towards the later rounds when Galahad got more tired, but Galahad was making him look silly. I guess that was sort of my assessment of the fight, that Warrington couldn't deal with a guy that was in southpaw, and also the pace of the fight suited Galahad more because he was making Warrington fight at his pace, and Warrington, the only thing he could do is when Galahad spun him around is to run through a combination of punches. But what Galahad would do then is just throw a jab just to stop him from coming forward. But I think we'll get to the scoring in a bit. But that was sort of my assessment of the fight.
Brendan, we seen Josh Warrington look very confused when Galahad turned to southpaw. Do we think that he's prepared properly for Kid Galahad? Because he really didn't know how to close the gap when Galahad had turned southpaw.
He didn't seem like he was ready for that southpaw look at all. And also, it didn't seem like they had any plan B or C. It was just, try and steamroll forward and throw as many punches as you can. And it was led to a very ineffective and ugly performance from him that he's lucky to leave with the win. But Yeah, he looked a little lost out there, and the corner advice from his dad, I guess, wasn't the best either. Um,
No, I mean,
uh,
I seen after the fight that his dad was even saying that Kid Galahad should have been disqualified. Now, I don't buy that at all because Kid Galahad, for everything he might have been holding, he never got a warning. You know, he
yeah,
never got a point deducted for the holding, so he's entitled to do it up until the point where he gets a point deducted, and then he might stop and change his tactics. So, should the referee maybe take some of the responsibility here?
I think he was looking ugly up that fight any way he could. So the ref, it was just I don't know, I just it was just bad. It was ugly. Yeah, I could have seen him getting a point taken away, but I thought he won the fight even if he would have taken a point away from him. I don't know the scoring. It's an ugly fight, very hard to score. So I'm not like outraged at the scores, but it wasn't like it was just ugly. That's all I really got to say about it.
Yeah,
Ugly,
I mean,
ugly, ugly.
I've seen a lot of people on Twitter and social media, you know, kind of going mad about Kid Galahad and he's holding and he's tying up on the inside. But I also think that Josh Warrington deserves so much criticism because he was so easy to tie up on the inside. He couldn't figure out that he had to take half a step back to get his work off. He went up to put his forehead on Galahad's chest, you know, and just rest there. And Galahad's like, oh, this is easy enough. Well, I thought Kid Galahad done the right thing. You know, if he gets that close, don't let him work. Why would Kid Galahad let Warrington go to work on his body when he could tie him up? Because on the outside there was only one winner. You know, as Riku said, Kid Galahad made him look ridiculous sometimes. And even the shots that he was landing, you wouldn't call them scoring punches. They were glancing, they were slapping, and you know, I thought if you were scoring that fight using your criteria, you know, I don't see how you can possibly give Josh Warrington the victory. You know, he was dancing to Galahad's tune all night. You know, alright, he was trying to force it a bit more in the last few rounds, but even then, I mean, they were big, wild swings and not really anything punches. Apart from the odd time where he maybe doubled up in the jab, I can't really remember Warrington making Galahad, you know, look worried at any time.
No, he didn't, and it was Galahad's fight. Galahad fought the fight in his way, and Warrington didn't have any answers. Um, I mean, I don't know how people scored it to Warrington, let alone 6 rounds to Josh Warrington, which is an absolute disgrace, because there is no way that Warrington won 6 of those rounds. I mean, 6 more rounds than Kid Galahad. There's no way that happened.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I get into a little debate because I was saying that I cannot see how you can score that to Josh Warrington that fight. You know, at the very, very most, I might be able to stretch to a draw, but never. I don't think Warrington won that fight at all. And usually the answer that was coming back towards me was it was Warrington's work rate, or it was Warrington's a champion and Galahad didn't do enough to go and rip the title for his hands. Now, this seems to be something that, you know, it's accepted in boxing and with boxing fans that you have to go and rip a title, a world champion's hands. At the end of the day, it's a fight. Every fight should be scored the same. You know, I don't get this idea that, like, you know, it doesn't matter how hard you're working. If your work's not amounting to nothing, then you can't score it. You know, if you throw 15 punches and miss with every one and get caught with one jab, you know, there's only one person won that exchange. The person that's actually scored the punch. You know, I just, you know, people seem to be willing to peddle this when it suits them. I suppose. I bet you if it was the other way about, you know, it would.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's one of the ones where it's when they suit. But where do you guys stand on this? You know, when it's a world title fight, a challenger has to go and rip the title out of the world champion's hands.
That's BS in my mind. You know, you got to score it the same way whether it's a world title fight or not. There's you can rip a title out of anyone's hands in any other sport. You know, and you know what I mean. It's just the champion shouldn't get the benefit of the doubt, especially in a fight like this where I didn't think it was very close at all. I mean, like Kid Galahad's got to be kicking himself in the ass for not letting his hands go a little bit more because he would have walked away with the surefire victory. I think.
Yeah. What about you, Riku? Where do you stand in that?
Yeah, it's complete bullshit, to be honest, because if you think about it, scoring a fight objectively, the fact that you're scoring it round by round, that has no bearing over whether somebody's a champion or it's their hometown. The criteria does not say that a champion gets the close rounds. And also, the problem that I have with that is that it just peddles the status quo of boxing, which is it being a corrupt sport where the hometown fighter gets the decision. So we can't have it both ways, that we say, you know what, sometimes what we need to do is reform the sport, and then on the other hand, a champion needs to, or champion has the benefit of the doubt. Because the problem with the whole thing about a champion, challenger having to rep the belt is a challenger might not get another opportunity, and that might not be their game plan. Or, how do you score a unification fight? Who's the champion? Who's the challenger? A side, B side. It's just complete horseshit, to be honest.
Yeah, and there's also, I mean, even the work ethic argument, I don't buy that either, because, I mean, people are not using the proper criteria if they're using that, because, I mean, Kid Galahad defence, which is a scoring criteria, was superb. Warrington couldn't land on him. Anytime they get close, what Galahad would spin away. It was, everything in that fight was controlled by Kid Galahad. So, I mean, I don't understand why people think that, because he put his head down and rushed in with his arms flailing, that's something you should score, rather than the guy who's actually avoided being hit and spun himself out of danger. That to me, again, it's like, but no, we will bend any excuse to try and get a guy to win, and it's one thing that annoys me with boxing fans is they can't see past themselves now. I picked Warrington to win this fight. Actually says he would embarrass Galahad. That didn't happen. If anything, it maybe went the other way. I thought Galahad kind of showed up that Warrington's very one-dimensional, and he's very one-paced, and he's only got a plan A. He can't really change it. That's what I thought, that Galahad showed up in Warrington. I think that there's better to come for Kid Galahad than what there is for Josh Warrington, put it that way. I think that there was only, Galahad was the more skilled fighter. But
yeah, and I think it's worth noting that Galahad took that loss like an absolute champion, just in the way how he handled it afterwards, and said, "Let the judges score it how they scored it, and he's a champion, he's a good fighter, and I need to focus on my own career." And none of his team, Dom Ingle, nobody else, said anything about poor refereeing or scoring or anything else. They were just all, giving the credit to Josh Warrington and him for winning the fight. And, there was no manufactured sort of videos and T-shirts like AJ. They just took the loss, and because they will know deep down that, they at that level, and also they can come back again and they can beat him if there probably won't be a rematch, but if there's another opportunity, they'll capitalise, and they've learned a lot from it.
do we think after that kind of performance that Kid Galahad might find himself to be one of these guys who get locked out? That nobody's going to want to go and fight because he's a high risk, low reward kind of guy, Brendan? What do you think about
that? Yeah, that's for sure, and especially that style doesn't, make you a very TV friendly fighter. Not no one's really going to be no one really tunes in to watch that. Yeah, I think he might have a hard time, especially doesn't seem that his promoter even gave a shit that he was fighting on Saturday. So unless Matchroom has anything for him at 126, it could be a long road to another world title fight for him.
Well, he said in an interview that to the Guardian that morning that effectively that he doesn't have a promoter's backing, whether that means that he was Eddie Hearn on a fight-by-fight basis, or whether it means that he's just a free agent. I think he'll probably end up moving somewhere else, maybe in PBC or something like that. But yeah, I think it's a tricky one for him because he doesn't have the promotional backing. He's not a huge ticket seller, so somebody would have to invest him and maneuver him up those rankings.
There is, I mean, I don't know if you guys seen this as well, but I mean, I think that Kid Galahad is quite defensively sound. I think that he shows in wee spells that he's got the skill, to throw the odd uppercut, or come over the top with a right hand and then get out of position before it can be countered. It just seems to me that he's got all the ingredients there to be an entertaining fighter. He's got all the ingredients there to be a top fighter. But I think he's just not putting them together properly just now. I don't know if it's worth him maybe trying somebody else in training or what, but it seems like all the ingredients are there. He's just got to figure out how to put them together.
I think it's partly as well the opposition, because he has been entertaining in previous fights and he isn't the biggest of punchers, but I don't think Warrington's style hasn't previously been particularly entertaining, apart from the Frampton fight. You know, he comes forward and throws a lot of punches, and sometimes that's ineffective, and, you know, he grapples a lot, he holds as well, Warrington quite a bit, so the styles just didn't mesh. So I think that's the other factor. But I think Galahad is an entertaining fighter, and he's a very good fighter, so, you know, I think given the right opposition, he'll probably be doing quite well.
Now, we couldn't leave this card without mentioning Ronald McIntosh. Oh my God, this guy was verbal HIV the other night there. That was one of the worst commentating performances I've ever heard in my life. At one point, he actually told a 1 minute story during a 3 minute round. That was preposterous to me. I can't understand it now, Brendan. I don't know if you had the US commentators.
No, I was lucky enough to have your stream.
Oh, you must have been loving that.
You know what? I watched most of that fight without the sound on, to be honest. And then when I tried to watch it again, I couldn't bring myself to do it. So,
well, do you know?
So it made out okay.
Do you know that I actually contemplated turning the sound down, but then it wouldn't have given me nothing to moan about because the fight was so boring and you didn't really need to concentrate on it because, you know, it was a shit fest. And I was like, well, Ronald McIntosh, you know, giving me this verbal diarrhea is probably the best thing about this fight, you know. It gave me something to go into Twitter to moan about.
I mean, who uses the term tenderizing the opponent's body? Tenderize. I mean, it's not a piece of steak. Jesus Christ.
Oh, it was ridiculous. And do you know, it was on top form all night because last night I went back and watched the Zelfa Barrett and Leon Woodstock fight. I went back and watched that and it was absolutely deplorable during that as well. So at least he's consistent, you know. At least he was consistent.
I'm looking on Twitter right now. He got absolutely roasted.
Yeah, well,
I don't think anyone enjoyed it.
Frank Warren says in the Boxing Social interview that even though he was there, he's been reading what people have been saying on social media and he's furious with the commentary team. I think it was, you know, he's not happy with the standards, and rightly so, because, you know, if that fight would have been a barnstormer, he would have literally ruined that fight with the shite he was talking. You know, he was kind of lucky that wasn't a good fight.
Yeah, I mean, but Frank Warren, he was slating Kid Galahad after the fight, which I thought was it was a bit of a cheap shot, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
There was no need to start slating Kid Galahad after the fight.
Yeah, Frank was another one that was saying that he should have been disqualified or what have you. But again, I go to the other side of that argument and say Josh Warrington was showed up. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to get away from Galahad's grasp. And it's such a simple technique, you know. Rather than step in and try to get his head onto his chest, step back. You know, and he couldn't figure it out, you know. And it was, it told more about Josh Warrington's level than what it did about Kid Galahad's level. That's what
he reminds me of, him and Sean Porter have a very similar style.
Yeah.
That's what he reminds. And when it gets ugly, it is ugly. And
it was Kell Brook against Sean Porter that fight.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yep, absolutely. But, I mean, we've did all the reviews of the weekend's action, so let's move on to the news. There's not been a great deal of news, because we're still dealing with the fallout for Andy Ruiz and AJ, which feels like a lifetime ago, and we're still bloody reading stories about it. So, today I noticed that the WBC say that Dillian White isn't doing himself any favours, and they put this down to Eddie Hearn's war of words with him. What do you think about this? Because it seems to me that if you're going to have an argument with a governing body, there's only really going to be one winner. Riku, what do you think about that?
The WBC have a argument against the World Boxing Super Series by taking away the title on Saturday, 24 hours before the fight. It's just, I mean, WBC, as Brendan says, stands for We Be Crooks. I mean, the WBC are an utter joke, to be honest, and I think promoters should be blackballing these guys because it's starting to get ridiculous what they demand, and they're starting to become more vocal than most promoters are. But yes, you are right. There's no point in having an argument with governing bodies as a promoter, but they are playing games, aren't they?
Yeah, and they have been. I'm not a big fan of the WBC, to be honest. I've just thought that the timing with the WBSS stuff seemed to be very convenient, as the news broke during the week that the money men behind the WBSS aren't there anymore, and they're looking for a quick fix to get this season over and done with. And lo and behold, WBC pull out their title out, and they're reviewing their participation in the tournament, which, absolute bullshit. That's absolute bullshit, if you ask me. But what do you think about the Dillian Whyte saga, Brendan? Have you been following it a bit?
I was reading a little bit about it earlier. He's been a number one contender like 18 months, and he's turned down number one. What did he turn down? The mandatory fight.
Yeah, a final eliminator.
The final eliminator. That's right. I don't know. Like you said, you're gonna pick a point. You're gonna pick a fight with Mauricio, and then he's like, "Oh, you're embarrassing my family." That guy's so full of shit. It's unbelievable. Like, I can't believe one word out of his fucking mouth. He's another guy. Says he's lying today, but telling the truth tomorrow.
This is a guys who made a belt for Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we got diamond belts, silver belts,
Aztec
belt.
Aztec belt.
Yeah, Aztec belt's a good one.
I like the Aztec belt. That was actually a very pretty belt. Actually, that was one of my favourite ones.
You could probably get one for a small sanctioning fee.
And something else I was reading today, because there's not really a lot we can talk about with the WBC. It's like that's been a story that's been ongoing now for about a year and a half. So there's not really a lot else we can say about that Dillian Whyte in the WBC. It's not moving anywhere. It seems to be a stalemate. But if Dillian Whyte,
if Eddie Hearn really wanted to push Dillian Whyte, those doors would open. But I mean, yeah, Dillian Whyte is sort of the biggest loser out of all of the heavyweights in terms of the politics or in terms of political situation.
I'm just convinced they don't want 3% of Dillian Whyte versus Deontay Wilder. They want 3% of Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury too. They want 3% of the winner of that fighting Anthony Joshua, or you know what I mean?
Yep.
They don't want to be in the Dillian Whyte business. And what, he's getting dropped out of the rankings for complaining? That's like, what is this, like 5th grade? Like, was he 10 years old? It's asinine.
Yeah. And that takes his own.
Heyman drove a new Ferrari in front of Suleiman's house after that.
And that actually takes us on nicely to the next thing, Brendan, because you're saying, you got to get dropped at the rankings for having a disagreement with a governing body. Well, Big Baby Mother, his name has been batted about as Tyson Fury's next opponent, literally weeks after failing 3 drug tests. Oh,
I knew this shit was gonna happen. I said he didn't have a license in New York, so no one could suspend him. So if someone wants to fight him, they can fight him. It's just, that's what the problem with no national athletic body here, no governing bodies. He can do whatever the fuck he wants to do if he doesn't have a license anywhere.
Well, do you know what came through my head is that Riku had a conspiracy theory, and we all kind of chuckled and all that. He'd heard a conspiracy theory about, it was a sabotage AJ's big, US opening, and it actually kind of looks like that could be the actual reality of all. Why else would Big Baby Miller be ringside to Tyson Fury and all that a few weeks later? It seems like, it stinks.
Yeah.
He has no business being in a fight anytime soon, and if he is, it's a disgrace, and we shouldn't watch it, but we will because we're dumb.
Yeah, I mean, I think in this case, the governing bodies are the ones that give the penalties. If he's served his penalty, then for promoter it makes sense to promote him. Well, promote his fight, a fight against him, because you have that classic good versus evil, and people tune in to see him get beat up. He probably won't get a big payday, but still, he needs to accept the fights that are offered to him. So it's a failure on boxing's part, not necessarily the promoter's part, not capitalizing on it. Because you look at Eddie Hearn, he's had Lucas Brown on his shows, he's had lots of guys that failed drug tests. So I think we need to treat all these drug cheats equally. And the fact that people are cheering on Canelo, but then saying that people shouldn't do interviews with Big Baby Miller because he's failed a drug test. I mean, to me, it's just, this is an issue that's rife in boxing, drug cheats, and I think we just have to come to terms with it.
Yeah, well, do we think that the fact that Tyson Fury doesn't hold a world title, he's a lineal champion, but he doesn't hold any of the governing bodies titles, does that kind of make them irrelevant when it comes to this fight? If this fight did get made, does that make them irrelevant? Because, Tyson Fury doesn't hold any of the belts, so why do they need to sanction it?
Yeah, they don't have to. I mean, if he wants to fight a guy that just got popped for steroids, I guess, he's been popped for steroids too, so, I guess, if he wants to fight him, fight him. I mean, it's just disappointing that, someone else won't get an opportunity, a guy who's doing it the right way, and you're going to give it to this guy for, I don't understand for what reason.
Yeah, I actually thought that, I've read that Pulev could be the actual Fury's next fight, which I think would be a much better fight, because Pulev is obviously going to lose out in that AJ money now, because AJ doesn't hold any of the titles. So, that might be a better... I think that would actually be a better fight, to be honest. The last I seen Pulev, he's looking better than he's ever done, I thought, in his career.
Groping. The last I saw him was groping.
Yeah, he did some groping, yes.
It's funny because there's a good IFL video where Bob Arum's been interviewed, and he talks about the whole Pulev situation. He's been a, classic old man that doesn't understand how the world works, to just say, I don't understand what was wrong. It's called slut shaming, apparently, if I say that she's a slut, and, it's quite funny.
Fucking hell, man.
Yeah, have a watch, and he's just sitting there. He's clearly had a few drinks, and he's saying, and now they're sending Pulev to some sort of, sexual harassment course. What's the world come to? It's crazy. but he makes the point, which is quite interesting, that actually Pulev, because he doesn't have a license in California, he can't fight anywhere else in the US, because all these different governing bodies in the US or athletic commissions have an agreement that if you ban from one, you can't fight in others, which was news to me. But separately, what he makes quite an interesting point is that actually that Pulev is signed with Top Rank, so it sort of makes sense for him to fight against Fury, and it's just one of those things that once he's done his 6-month ban and this course, then he can fight again. So the 6-month ban ends in July, and he'll do the course this week, and then he'll be done.
Do you know what's actually bizarre? We're actually sitting here talking about a drugs cheat and a guy who kissed a reporter, and we're sitting here talking about the guy who was a drugs cheat, who's failed against, who's been taking anabolics and all the rest of it. But we're sitting here saying that, outside of New York, he can go and do what he wants, but, Pulev can't fight because of what he's done. It just seems a wee bit bizarre.
Yeah, that's boxing for you, mate. That's boxing.
Yep, a carnival sport. Still is.
Yeah, but as I said, I don't know if you guys had seen anything else in the news, but there's not been a lot. I mean, it's still this Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua, blah, 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 and other promoters talk about it. It's been shit, try to dig up some decent news stories to talk about, but it's been absolute dire. So we'll move on to the discussion topics, unless you have getting else to add, that is.
No, I'm good. I've been reading the website. There's not much going on. No, you got the Mikey Garcia, Danny Garcia matchup that's coming that no one wants.
Yeah,
on pay-per-view, no less. So.
Well, at least Mikey's
Yeah.
getting the Benjamins.
And we need to see more of Angel Garcia. That's a man that's all about PC.
Yeah, we should put him and Bob Arum in a room and just record
Yeah.
it and make it like Big Brother, you know, and we'll just sit them in a house for 3 weeks and we'll watch them.
You know what? We need to mention Big Brother and Tommy Fury. I haven't been watching it, but
Love
I have
Island,
to
that's
watch
what my
one.
wife's watching right as we speak. She's in there watching her Love Island now.
I watched one episode. My girlfriend's sister was watching it over the weekend, and I mean, Tommy Fury's an alpha male, but I have no idea how Big John Fury had bred such a good-looking man. I have no idea.
My wife says to me, when we were watching the Fury fight, and my wife says to me, "My God, Tommy get the looks in that family." It's like, yeah, man, his mum must be a beautiful, beautiful looking woman, man.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, I actually watched. I was sitting on my iPad while my wife was watching Love Island, and I could feel myself getting punch drunk with just listening to it in the background. You know, I could feel myself. I was starting to sound like George Groves. You know.
I mean, they say like so many times, like every time, and anybody that's listening, just take note how many times they say the word like in between sentences. These people are retards, honestly.
They must watch a lot of American reality TV before they go on that, because that's all you hear from these fucking bimbos. Like, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But just not with a nice American accent. You've got some Geordie or some Scouser, you know, doing it. Who am I to slag anybody's accent right enough, you know? But let's move on. And we kind of touched on Ronald McIntosh's very, very poor commentary performance the other night. But what makes a good commentator? What do you look for in a commentary team? We'll start with you, Brendan.
I like like clear, concise. I like good analysis. I've liked different guys over the years, but I always enjoyed Manny Stewart. I liked Letterman a lot. Howard Letterman is a good ringside judge. I can't pinpoint like one thing, but I like when they don't overtalk a fight too much. You know, nowadays sometimes you get like these 3 or 4 man guys at the side of the ring, and no one ever shuts the fuck up and lets you watch the fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly it. That was going to be my point. I mean, I'm not really. Oops, somebody's just messaging the computer. Sorry, I'm not really into this thing now where there's no any free air. You know, every word is full. Every second, is full by words. I like watching. I watch a lot of the old fights. I like watching my Ali Fraser's and that. And I love it when you watch the fights and there's 20 seconds and nothing. You know, I think actually in the Rumble in the Jungle, the commentator says, "I'm going to be quiet and let you enjoy this for a while." You know, God, could you imagine that nowadays?
No, but I feel like that's the same way in almost every sport. At least it is in this country. They just jam more guys in there. And even in American football, the one guy tries to call the play before it happens. It's like you can't enjoy any type of just the game itself without these guys imparting knowledge on you that sometimes isn't true or they don't have any.
Yeah, exactly. I think for me, what's quite important is that the commentator can add value to my viewing by actually explaining things I don't understand, or saying what the guy is trying to do in the ring, or pointing out something that's been said in the corner, or what's happening at the ringside. Because too often they're just saying the stuff that I'm saying, and obviously, or what I'm thinking. But obviously, radio commentating is very different to television commentating, and there's a few interesting podcasts recently that Mike Costello has done and talked about commenting on boxing, and he makes a good point about you have to be very deliberate on when you talk about an analogy. And I find often Ronald McIntosh and others, they just have like a sheet of facts in front of them about a fight, and they just go on to delivering this analogy about when they walked into the gym and what happened and yada yada yada, and that kind of stuff think about the point when you say that, and whether he actually adds any value. But these guys are just ridiculous these days.
Who was it? Sorry, who was it? It was on the. Who was else was it? It was on with Curtis Woodhouse. Who was that former boxer? I can't remember his name now. Was it bloody? Can't remember. But his analysis was actually spot on. I thought anything he was saying was great, and I think that's like you've got your commentator and you've got your co-commentator, which is usually a former pro, and that's all you're really wanting for former pros, to tell things or say things. The adjustments that need to be made, and watch out for the adjustments. Give you pointers to watch out for things that's happening in the ring. Now, just these stories and drivel, it distracts you. And that's what I thought. I thought Ronald McIntosh actually had a good co-pilot with him the other night. He had a good co-commentator. But any time that he was, the guy was telling you like what Warrington has to do here is, and to have some success, he was hitting that back to the commentator, and then he would just tell you a fucking random story about 1994, about fucking in Prince Nazim, and you go, what the fuck are you talking about? Just shut up if you've not got anything good to say, if you're not going to add to that. I'm getting into a rant. I've got myself all angry now.
Yeah, and every time there's an Ingle fighter in the gym, they always say the same stories about walking in Brendan Ingle and stuff like that, and they, give me something, talk about Dom Ingle, talk about, what's going on in the gym, something that's relevant, rather than going on about the same stuff that everybody's heard a million times.
Yeah, even, I think they were even seeing it now. I mean, I watched a documentary, it was about ABC in the States, and it was about, what's his face, the guy...
Howard Cosell?
Aye, and even watching his style of interview, it's very overbearing. He's right up in, like, you watch him interviewing Ali, and he's right in Ali's personal space, and he's not just saying like party lines. He's actually asking awkward questions. And you can sometimes you see Ali squirming a wee bit. And I think you don't even see that anymore in boxing. Everything's kind of, it's the same questions asked differently that the boxers maybe been asked fucking 50 times that day. I think even the style of reporting and stuff like that now is very lazy.
Yeah, do you remember the time when Mayweather, when he said to Mayweather, if I was 50 years younger, I'd kick your ass.
Yeah, man, it's classic.
He always looked like he had a few drinks while he was calling the fights too.
Yeah,
I miss Larry Merchant.
Yeah, I was actually well. There's a wee bit. My must see this week was I ended up watching the old the Mike Tyson documentary movie. It's been out for years, but we've all seen it. And there was some cracking interviews with Larry Merchant and Tyson after the fights. You know what I mean? It was he was a good guy to have in the ring to play off Tyson, I thought.
Yeah. It's worth listening to anybody that's interested. Trish Dixon's Boxing Life Story is the one with Mike Costello, because he talks about things like, for example, interviewing Amir Khan after Terence Crawford fight, and when somebody's visibly hurt, whether you should interview them or not, and the dilemma that they often have is sort of, should I do my job by interviewing this fighter as concussed that says silly things, but then the fight they have between doing their job versus looking after the safety of a fighter, and also talking about sort of saying the tricky things to fighters, and how some fighters take in their stride and others carry grudges, which means that you can't always have access to them.
Yeah, one of my favourite ones is Bernard Hopkins and Steve Bunce, when Bernard Hopkins is literally going to punch fuck right out of Steve Bunce. It's before the fight, it's like the build up, and I think Steve Bunce maybe pushes the boundaries a wee bit, and Hopkins doesn't hold back. It's genius to watch, man. It's brilliant, But
one of my favourite interviews is the Sky. Do you remember when they used to do Ringside on Sky?
Yeah.
And Adam Smith and Johnny Nelson go into Bernard Hopkins' house, and they're sitting in his kitchen table and they're interviewing him. And Bernard Hopkins, who I'm a fan of, was chatting absolute nonsense. And they just say, fascinating, interesting. And he's just going, every time I fight, I say, I hear the warden. I hear the warden saying that I'll be back in prison. And that's fascinating. That's fascinating. Adam Smith keeps on going.
This was a question sent in last week before we postponed the pod, and we could still ask it this week. It was an evergreen kind of question, and it was: do any British prospects have the potential to dominate the division in the next couple of years? And that was sent in for Paul. I think he pronounced his name Olte. Aye, Olte.
Yeah,
met him.
met
him down in when I was in London. Met him at what's his face? York Hall. Met him at York Hall, having a wee drink and that with him. But yeah, it was good. But anyway, that is Paul's question, and I have to admit, I was sitting racking my brains today, and my answer, other than Lee McGregor, I would maybe say.
I was just about to say
Lee McGregor is probably the only one I can think of just now that I would say, yeah. Other than that, I think that British boxing's hitting a wee bit of a lull.
Yeah, I think that the premise of a British fighter dominated division's quite high anyways. So maybe we just drop it down to becoming world champion, because there aren't many British fighters that have dominated the division apart from Carl Froch maybe and a few others. But yeah, it's I'll have to. I can't really think of anybody on top of my head that's a young prospect in Britain that's so talented that I could see them. I wouldn't be surprised if we'll have to see in a few years' time, once they clear out sort of the older guard of the light heavyweight division, that he will be dominating the division. He's not exactly a prospect anymore, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. Brendan, what about taking this over to the stateside? I kind of think I know who you're going to say, but who's your biggest prospect coming out, and who do you see dominating divisions in the next coming years?
Tiafimo.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah, I'm a fanboy, so. Also, I think Virgil Ortiz from California that fights with Golden Boy. I think he's their best. He's their best prospect, but they give all the shine to the shirtless Instagram boy. What's his name?
Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, and I think Shakur will be good too if he stops fighting women and fat men in parking lots in Miami. He'll be okay.
Yeah, that's it. Shakur Stevens is a very talented fighter, but I think there's a good chance that he's kind of used up all his credit with normal people. When you start beating up people in parking lots, and it's a long way back for that.
Well, the given is he's getting his headlining thing in Newark at the Prudential Center, so they got him to headline a card. Let's see how well it sells.
Yeah.
For one, I'm not heading over to Newark.
Yeah. And just to finish up in the discussion topics, we'll stay with you, Brendan, and it's with the rematch confirmed between Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz. Just how important is it that Anthony Joshua regains his titles, and if he doesn't, where does he go next?
I don't know. You know what? I think if he loses again, I wouldn't be surprised if he never fights again. To be honest with you. It doesn't seem like I've seen his most recent video. He's asking why he does this, and he wants to be number one. And if he can't be number one, he's not going to do it anymore. It sounds like something to that effect. You never know with his Instagram, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like maybe he doesn't have the drive for the
See, when you hear that, that kind of that fucking motivational speech thing, does it come across tailored to you?
It doesn't seem like he's got a real fire under his ass. It seems like he's doing, he's got a PR team of telling him what to say and when to say it. It's not like, he's not like a guy like Fury or some other guys who, they'll say anything that's on the top of their head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything's it's produced. It's like a production.
Do we think that may be part of the problem with Anthony Joshua? Maybe it's became too much of a job. It's became a 9 to 5 for him, and the love for it is maybe just going away because he can't be himself. Everything about him seems manufactured and phony. I've not seen this video, but I could guarantee you I probably have seen it in a dozen different kind of versions. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what we get for the AJ bandwagon, the big AJ machine. And I think that, that could be detrimental to him.
Yeah, for sure. I
What?
mean,
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry, I thought you were finished there. I was just going to say, what about you, Riku? Where do you think that AJ goes if he does not get these titles back?
I think he'll have one big cash out fight against a British fighter like maybe Dillian White, maybe against Tyson Fury, and then that's going to be it. But I don't think he's in sports necessarily for long term if he doesn't win this fight, because he'll know that what his level is, and he'll know that, and he'll also know that there's limited upside and interest from the British public towards somebody that's a loser, to be honest. Not to say that he is, but just, it's one of those things that the public loves a winner.
Yeah, I've just kind of get this feeling with AJ that he's maybe not just enjoying his boxing anymore. I just think that, it's became the job. There's that many people relying on him now, and he's not just doing it for the love of being a boxer and getting handsomely paid. He's kind of just seems to be locked in. I mean, his reaction after that fight with Andy Ruiz, I thought was a disgrace for a world champion to kind of just pass it over like that, and that fucking, I don't care about that stay humble shit. Show emotion, show us a bit of anger, show something. Stop being so manufactured. And I would call it a BBC. He's got a BBC mentality. Everything's got to be properly English. The Queen's English, and it's ridiculous, mate. Be angry, show that you actually cared. Because after that Andy Ruiz fight, when I seen his post-fight interview, I thought to myself, that guy is now a loser. He's got a loser's mentality. You show me somebody that's happy with losing, and I'll show you a loser.
Yeah, it's almost, afterwards, it's almost like they gave him like Zoloft or some like personality drug. He's like, oh, well, it's his night. And it's one thing to be magnanimous, but you can still be, pissed that you lost.
Yeah,
you still give the guy
especially
credit while being annoyed. You can give the credit and still, you look like you could, oh, well, I lost. I don't really care.
Especially when he actually did have a valid reason there. I mean, he had a valid reason to, fucking be angry. Even though I think that he would have been knocked out anyway. But I mean, he gave himself an excuse. If that would have been anybody, just say that would have been Canelo or Triple G. Do you think that they would have just stood back and says, oh no, this is his night, let him enjoy it? No, they says, I fucking wanted to continue. The referees called it half early, and the way George Groves was after the first Carol Froch fight, he screamed bloody murder, and that was, a much more further gone conclusion than what AJ Ruiz was.
Or even just, saying that he got me tonight and it was a bad night, but I'll come back stronger and I'll beat him the next fight and I can't wait. And I can't wait for the next fight, whatever. Just, I think it's more the delivery of the words than it is the words itself, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
100%. I don't know, do you think that's just I don't even know what this guy's real personality is. Is he just like a laid-back guy, or is this is all manufactured? Like,
well, I mean,
this global brand they're trying to create,
Yeah, I
so
think
much more than a boxer. He's all this model, whatever. They're probably had acting fucking hopes for him and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's like he's been pinned up as the role model. This is who every child should want to be, but everybody fucking knows you grow up to be more like a Tyson Fury. Everybody is a bit of an arsehole. If you're not an arsehole, then you can't be happy in life. You need to be a bit of a prick, that's what brings us all together. And then you meet other pricks and you meet other assholes, and then you become a wee group of pricks and assholes, and it's fucking that's how the world works. These fucking big guys that are just pure, so beautifully natured. It's fake. He's an imploder. You fucking wouldn't be surprised if Anthony Joshua walks into a supermarket and shoots it up one day. That'll probably no happen, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm not.
But
I do know what you mean. It seems like there's something stewing inside, and there's bigger issues than what he's giving out to the public, and there might be changes within the team, or they might go and there might be changes, not necessarily in McCracken, but changes in the whole setup and how things are done.
Yeah, well, Boxing Kingdom already broke that exclusive that he'd left McCracken.
Nutters. Those guys are just those guys just get kicked out of posting inaccurate stuff.
But then they put up some good stuff too. It's like either be a fucking parody place or make real news, but don't be both of them.
I think I was blocked after a week anyway, so I never really got to put up with any of the stuff. But I seen somebody took a screenshot of it. That's how I got to see it. Otherwise, I wouldn't even mention it. But
it's probably me.
Was it you?
Yeah.
It might have been you.
Yeah,
I actually think we might have put it in the group chat. But that's us. We've took everything off of the schedule, and we're just finishing up with must see. Now, you must have seen this Mike Tyson documentary about 50 times. It's brilliant. I still, even though I was giving Mike Tyson I was kind of trolling the Tyson fans the other week there, but I still find Mike Tyson one of the most intriguing people that any sport has ever seen. I mean, I've read a lot of books. I've read his autobiography. I've watched all the documentaries, and I still find the guy so intriguing. I just think that there's a bit of everything in there, and I think that a lot of boxers, like your superstars, have learnt a lot they've learnt a lot for the mistakes that Mike Tyson made in his career. A lot of them they've seen how easy it is to lose $300 million or $400 million, and end up fucking growing weed for a living.
Broner's learned that lesson great. Broner's really learned that lesson, parting with $5 million the other night.
One of my favorites.
But I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen the Tyson movie. I would assume you have. It's brilliant. Getting to see him talk about Costamato. He kind of starts breaking down. Seeing a man like Mike Tyson breaking down, it's fucking hard to watch. But it was great. It was a good watch. Have you boys seen anything?
Well, Tyson. One thing about Tyson, he really knows his boxing. To be honest, if you listen to him, and he understands boxing and he understands the intricacies. Partly because he's a historian, but I watched I Am Duran, which you can watch on YouTube. It's about £6. You can just rent it on YouTube. Great documentary about Roberto Duran, his life. He features in it, so they interview him a lot around the story. You also have Sugar Ray Leonard talking about stuff, Don King, Bob Arum, Stallone, Ricky Hatton, the who's of boxing in that documentary, talking about the career and life and times of Duran. But it's a really interesting story to anybody that knows about Duran and might not knows about the big fights, but actually looking at his career and his childhood, and when he went off the rails and the comeback, and what he means to the Panamanian people and the history around that. So it's called I Am Duran, so I highly recommend that one.
Do you think that there's a lot of similarities between the intrigue of Roberto Duran and the intrigue of Mike Tyson? But both of them were looked at as these vicious killers, and the fear. People were scared to fight them. Their opponents were scared in the ring.
Yeah, I think there is, but I think the biggest difference is Duran obviously had the no mask fight, and then he sort of decided that he's going to retire, and he came back and he won. He beat R.M. Barkley, and he beat another guy for the light middleweight title, and he came up from a very low weight divisions all the way up to middleweight to win titles. So, he's a guy that is one of the best lightweights in history, if not the best, actually.
Yeah, Brendan, have you seen anything? Have you got anything to add to that?
I have not. I haven't seen a goddamn thing.
Yeah.
That Duran documentary sounds interesting. I might give it a go later once my wife's watching something awful.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on Mike Tyson, just while we're here?
I like Mike. He's just one of those. Feels like a wacky sports guy from here. He started off as a kid beating the shit out of old ladies and stealing their purses. To the rape conviction, to being he was married to Robin Givens. The guy's lived one of the craziest lives in this country, I think, by far.
Yeah.
The rise and fall, and then his Reclamation back to where he did like that live show where I think it was like I Am Tyson, and he tells his whole story, and then the guy's loved, hated, back to loved, hated, loved. You know, he's it's definitely an interesting guy.
Yeah, he is. I think that whether you love or you hate him, he's somebody that he brings
polarizing.
into.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, he definitely is. He definitely is that. But unless you guys have got anything else to add, I'm happy to finish up there.
Have you seen? I had one. Have you seen or have you listened to the? Well, Joe Rogan's annoying, but have you listened to Joe Rogan podcast with Mike Tyson?
I have not. No.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. Yeah,
I like Joe Rogan. I'm a bit of a fan of some of the ones he does.
No, he does some great stuff, so I'm a big fan as well. But he does annoy me sometimes with his questioning. But yeah.
Do you know that
exactly what you mean?
Guys have been getting on at me for ages to start listening to Joe Rogan, and do you know what, man? I've got that many podcasts that I listen to. You know, I've got the New Age Boys. I mean, that's 2 hours. I mean, I've not got enough hours in my day to get through all these.
Rogan can give you like 3 or 4 hours too, and every day. It's like,
yeah, sometimes the Boxing Asylum will give you fucking 3 hours, and then you've got 2 hours for the New Age Boys. That's 5 hours out your week. You know, you listen to Beyond the Ropes, that's another hour 20 minutes.
Then you listen to Last Round as well to get your US stuff.
Yeah, it's fucking, you know, you start having to prioritise sometimes.
Yep, exactly. And then you might want to listen to some non-boxing related content too. And then, you know.
Oh, yeah. I'm listening to a boy, James English, just now. He's a boy from Glasgow, and he's going around interviewing the old gangsters, Paul Ferris and stuff like that. I mean, they're brilliant. That's what I've been really listening to just now. I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, I'm not casual, so I only consume boxing content.
But guys, thanks very much for coming on. It's been brilliant. I missed you last week. I mean, I know that yous would have missed me because I'm such a hoot. But
we're just happy to hear that you're alive again after the stag.
And do you know what? I was actually
5 days. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, and I told the wife I was only away for 3, and then didn't tell her I was away the other 2 till I was over there. So on my work either. So that worked out quite well. But I was sitting there at night and I couldn't stay up for Fury, and I thought to myself, if there's a big upset, I'll get a phone call from Brendan about 5 a.m. again. So
you don't want to hear that one. Oh shit.
That's it. But guys, thanks very much for coming on. And anybody that's listening, hit the subscribe button or leave us a review. You know, you can catch us on YouTube or on iTunes or any of the good places, you know, Spotify, any of that. Thanks very much, and cheers. Catch you next week.